Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about things we like less and less as we get older. Join us as we share what we're bothered by and the ways we're changing and laughing about it each year. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about things we like less and less as we get older. And this topic came up because of two Instagram reels. One was sent to us by a listener, and one just happened to appear on my feed. And from these social media posts, it seems like many midlife women find that things they didn't used to be bothered by are now bothering them more and more. All right, you guys, this really appealed to me. Things I like less and less. What did you think when I sent you this?
Didn't want to sound like bitter, grumpy, but I had a list.
Well, one of those reels, it was like, wow, this is a little too real for me because she cared about nothing anymore.
Right.
Yeah. It was a little bit depressing. I thought,
Right.
I don't need to go down that path. But there are definitely things that I used to enjoy that just don't seem that great anymore,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I definitely think that we don't want to just say that we've given up on life. But there are things, and the more I thought about it, and the more I went through my week, I was like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's
Or I don't
easy.
enjoy that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I even tried something that I thought that I don't enjoy anymore, but I actually did have a good time doing it. So, you can also still give something a whirl, and maybe the enjoyment comes back a little bit.
Right.
Maybe it's all in your mind, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I know. It depends on the day, the time of day, the time of the month.
Right.
I think there are probably more mental hurdles in midlife than before.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's right, Julie.
But we definitely appreciated a listener sending us kind of the jump start for this episode. So if you are listening, we hope that you laugh at some of these things that we came up with too. So Mindy and Julie, things that you like less and less. Okay, now I know that this is not going to be a shocker to anyone who listens, but I seriously like it less and less. You'd think that it would already be down around a 1 out of 10, but I don't like cooking. I don't want to cook. I don't want to cook a thing. I don't want to make any food. I want to buy you something. I want to pick up something that is healthy and easily prepared for meals. I want to enjoy what anyone else has cooked for me. But as far as like what I enjoy, cooking is super far down on the list. And you wouldn't have thought it could get much lower, but midlife has brought it to a new low.
It's a new That's so good.
That's funny.
I was just telling Abby the other day, I said, I see these seasons with food, and I can already see your dad and I getting into empty nest. And one day we're just going to eat from Fresh Market.
Yes.
Like, we're just going to go pick up food like for that meal and be fine with it.
That's funny because I've kind of made a little circle around food. Like you said, it does change and maybe it'll come back because I said that I no longer just look for convenience. Like certain seasons, it was all about convenience. And I thought about the ways like I got rid of my Keurig. It's like, I don't need that. I'm going to do the whole grinding my own beans, making the coffee, and
Yeah.
I enjoy that. For a while I was into those delivery meal kits. I can't stand those anymore. It's like, no, I want to make my own food. And then like the other night I went over to Marie's and she taught me how to bake sourdough bread. It's like, I'm not going to buy bread anymore. I could do this. I'm going to make it. So actually I've kind of ditched convenience and I enjoy the process more now. So, so maybe you'll come around.
That's a lot of
Come
fun.
back around.
Julie? I don't think she was ever there, though,
No,
Julie.
I never was there. I mean, I am making my own sourdough bread, but that is because I can't find any good bread in the store that is Bobby approved. But like, I will make something out of necessity. I'm not making it for the sheer pleasure. Like when I was teaching Julie, I could already tell she's going to run with this. She is interested in the add-ins, sun-dried tomatoes, rosemary, cinnamon, and sugar.
And then there's a whole art form, like the way you make cuts on the bread. It's like, ooh, I can't wait to get into that.
The artist, Julie. Oh, that's so great. I do notice, though, a shift in the food area because we had most of our children home for a couple of weekends, and I was just commenting to Bryce that I appreciated that this weekend there were a little less people because I'm tired of thinking about what to make. I'm tired of thinking about like all the people. And they would hate to hear me even say that. They're like, "Oh, well, we'll help and we'll do stuff." And they do. But there's something about falling back into that routine if everyone's home and I feel responsible for feeding all of them multiple meals a day. It's exhausting. So I kind of appreciate not making decisions or planning dinners and things like that. And I kind of don't mind making good food when I have space and time for it. But I think when it's expected, that's when
Yeah,
it really is
definitely.
just difficult.
And the more people, you have more to consider likes and dislikes and things like
Hmm.
that. So it gets easier.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. What's something that you guys are getting less and less enjoyment out of the older you get?
Well, something that came to my mind was amusement parks. And it really shocked me because in January, I went to Disneyland
Oh.
with a friend and I was so excited. And I did have a great time. Like it was fun being with her. It was fun just having no schedule and walking around and eating good food. But I rode one of my favorite rides and she said, "Do you wanna ride it again?" I was like, "No." I kinda had a headache and I felt a little
Mm.
queasy.
Mhm.
And I thought, "This is really different." Just the last time I was here, I would have ridden that ride 3 or 4 times in a
Hmm.
row. So, I don't know, it's lost a little bit of its appeal for the price. It's
Oh,
like, "Do I
yeah.
really wanna spend this?" Now, it would probably have a total different feel if I had my grandkids there or
Mhm.
my kids, but I always dreamed of just going as an adult to Disney World because you could just do whatever you wanted. And now that I can do that, I'm
You
too
don't
old for
want.
the
Oh, you finally arrived, Julie.
And
Yeah.
most Disney I mean, I haven't been to Disneyland since I was a child, but, like, Disney World, I mean, most of the rides aren't exactly throwing you around, but
Mhm.
I think the older you get I mean, I noticed this several years ago when we went to Dollywood and my kids wanted to go on those really high roller coasters, like, I have
Yeah.
no desire. I don't care if the wait time is 5 minutes. Like, when Steve
Hmm.
was younger, he used to take Davis in the summer one day, and they would drive to Kentucky Kingdom, and they would get there right when the park opened, and right away, they would ride as many roller coasters as possible. And as Steve got older, he said, like, "This gets harder and harder." Like, it is harder and harder to go on those rides that, like, mash your brain around over and over
Yeah.
again. And so, yes, I think definitely as we age, carnival rides and amusement parks are just not something and I used to love that kind of stuff.
Oh, I know. I remember John took, Andrew and a friend on their 16th birthday. They drove all over the whole Southeast, like, multiple states just to hit the biggest roller coasters in the country. And even then I thought, "How do you do that?" Because he would ride 'em.
Mm,
And it
Hmm.
just it starts to shake your brain and mess with your stomach and
I mean, you could chip a tooth.
well, that's true, Mindy, that's
I
true.
could, I could.
You gotta wear a mouth guard on your roller coaster rides now.
I know, I
And a helmet.
know. I know. Helmet, mouth guard. Yeah, good to go. One of the first things I thought of was I just don't have time for ill fitting clothes or shoes
Mm,
anymore. If it is, I want it to be cute, but if it's uncomfortable or if it's painful, I'm thinking like shoes.
mhm.
I just am not going to really gravitate towards those, pants that are too tight around the waist. I'm not going to suck it in all day and
No.
be okay with it. I actually want to breathe and be able to digest food normally. And, I want my feet to not be in
Numb.
pain when I'm finished wearing the shoes. And so those are two things that less and less I'm willing to be uncomfortable in my
Mhm.
clothing and in my shoes.
I
Yeah.
had those 2 very things on my list, no cheap shoes, and I said, "I'm not
Mhm.
gonna do anything that doesn't have a little stretch in it."
No, I know.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
thinking about
yeah.
the stereotype of old ladies, really old ladies, is that they have on orthopedic shoes and elastic waist pants. And there is a reason for that because that is what is comfortable. When I think about sitting for an hour in a chair, like anywhere, or
Mm.
I don't know where, like car ride, movie theater, or more than an hour. Like, what if you're going on a long trip? I am not wearing jeans. That is just painful. Like, why would I do that to myself? And yet I used to wear jeans even when like Abigail and Davis were little. I don't know that leggings were really that popular. Like I would just
It
put on
wasn't
an
a thing.
old pair of jeans, and I never thought about them being uncomfortable. That was just what you wore. But
Mhm.
now when you've experienced comfort in life, you just do not want to sit there like that.
I
It's
know.
true.
We can't go back to those days. It's weird that now when I put on jeans, I'm dressing up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, because I'm
Mhm.
not wearing joggers or leggings or something like that. But they've introduced these amazing pants. And I feel like they came out before COVID, but COVID made it all acceptable. There's no way we're going back. I mean, we can't.
No, we cannot go back. Another thing that I enjoy less and less, again, not that I ever enjoyed it, but I did have 5 kids and it didn't used to just like wreck me. Interrupted sleep. I hate interrupted sleep so much. Like, I just feel like as you age, you already get so many interruptions from your own body and your own time of life. I don't want anyone else's interruptions interrupting me. And so that is just so frustrating because it's impossible to like live with other people and never have any interrupted sleep. But I will say that I can handle that less and less.
It's definitely not as easy to recover when you used to have an all-nighter at college where you'd study or whatever. Like this
Yeah.
last week, I went on a hiking trip, got home about 11, had to take a shower, unpack, and then my son needed to go to the airport, and I had to set my alarm for 3:30. So I got 3 hours sleep, came home, and then I thought, "Oh, I'll set my alarm for church." I think I slept till 3 o'clock that afternoon.
Whoa. Yes.
I just can't skip it and think, "Oh, I'll just, catch a nap here and there." Like, I have to make up for it.
Yeah, we don't bounce back quite
No,
like we used to when our kids were young and we were up all hours of the night.
no.
Mhm.
Well, I thought about this, last year, Marina, we were going to a lot of movies, but we'd go on the half price night.
Mm.
And I just remember John and I loved movies so much, and we just couldn't wait till something came out. We never considered the price. It was just the night it came out. I mean, we went to some of those late night premieres, when they would first come out. Now I hate to pay full price for a movie.
Ooh,
I'm
Mm.
gonna
yeah.
shop around. I'm gonna wait. I
Mhm.
could maybe even wait till it comes on TV on streaming, but I noticed that's a difference. Like, I don't have to see the latest movie. I just don't. I mean, I still like going to the movies, but I don't
Mhm.
have to see the latest, and I certainly don't need to pay $18.
Yeah.
I can wait a little while.
I wonder if they offer senior citizen discounts not because of the limited budget, but because as we age, we just won't go if we have to pay full price.
Yeah, just trying to draw you back in.
Right.
I know. I know. I appreciate the element of time in all of Julie's answers. She's like, I will spend the time to make my coffee. I will spend the time to make the bread, and I will spend the time to see the movie. Like, I will wait.
That is so funny because my dad just reminded me of something he used to say when, my kids were little, they still remember this. He had dial-up internet, even after dial-up internet was not the only option,
Right.
and his answer was always like, "I have more time than money."
Julie, this is you. You are your father.
Yeah. I get it, though, I get it. When you have more time, convenience isn't that important.
It's not. It's not. Well, along with the movie, I'm gonna add, I don't have time for uncomfortable seats anymore.
Mm.
So, ironically, my family's excited about the new Mission Impossible movie that's coming out, but we're gonna pay more to go see it so that we can sit in the recliner seats.
Yes.
I
Because
prefer those.
yes, we will pay for comfortable seats. And I really noticed this because there were several events that we had to go to for Nathaniel at the end of the year. And they were highly uncomfortable seats. And by the time those events were over, I was so bouncy and jittery. You would have thought I was a child with ADHD. I needed to be put on Ritalin. I could not sit still. I was so uncomfortable. And I was like, "My goodness, I'm having such a hard time sitting here and focusing
Mhm.
because
Yes.
the
Yes.
seat is so uncomfortable." So, unfortunately, I really will pay for a comfortable seat,
Yeah.
reclining with back support.
I know. I won't even go if my movie I wanna see is not shown in the reclining seats theater. I'm not going.
No, no.
Yeah, that's kind of become the new standard. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought about that this week, and we were talking about it with, Southwest, starting to charge for bags and all,
Oh,
and
Mm,
I thought, I sat in their hard plastic short seat because it was, a great airline and they offered so many perks, but now that they're just like everybody else, I don't know if I'm gonna be so loyal
yeah,
because
right.
their seats to me are uncomfortable because the seat part is so short.
right.
It
Oh.
doesn't support your leg,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
I don't know.
No more.
No more.
Here's something I used to enjoy when I was younger. I mean, for years, I would listen to talk radio every afternoon. I mean, I was listening to talk radio from the time it came on at like noon until like 3 a lot of days. Like the kids were
Hmm.
napping, like while I was cleaning, while I was ironing, while I was painting, while I was doing anything. Unless I was taking a nap, I was probably listening to talk radio. And I loved it. I loved talk radio. I kept up with all of it. Now, I just really do not enjoy talk radio the way I used to. I think I've become jaded. I think when you're young and you hear them talking, you think, yes, we can change the world. We can make a difference. And now I'm jaded. I'm like, okay, I will listen around the election only because I'm interested to hear what they're having to say. But pretty much after I vote, there's nothing I can do. So I don't
Yep.
need to every single day listen to what they're saying because there is
Mm.
zero I can do about it. And so I don't enjoy just getting myself hyped up anymore and discouraged for no reason. And so now I'm listening to like a decorating podcast or something that I actually am not depressed after.
That's true, that's true.
It's
'Cause it
stressful,
just
like, that's drama. Like, there's so much drama, and, I think I want the nuts and bolts of what is happening,
Mhm.
but to me, that is stress-inducing because they're spinning it, like,
Yes.
spinning, 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 and I'm like, "There's
Yeah.
no conclusion. You're just spinning
Yeah.
uncontrollably."
It's just a big emotional stir up, and then you're left with, "What do I do about it?"
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
less and less. I can listen to less and less news. I can even read about less and less news. Like, unless
Mhm.
it's our time of year where I can go out and vote, I'm not paying attention. I mean, I know you can read the headline and pretty much know what they're going to say anyway. And I do that, but like I just can't delve into the weeds here because they're going to do what they're going to do and I'm not going to get depressed about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'm old.
Well, definitely, choosing some boundaries there, which I think are healthy.
Something I realized that I don't enjoy so much anymore is just being in big crowds.
Mm,
Um, Not that I don't go and do things if I really, really want to, but I just like, I'd never go to Times Square on New Year's Eve or to, some huge outdoor concert or I don't know, that's just I don't need to be in those kind of crowds anymore, but we have, a lot of outdoor music here in our neighborhood, and my neighbor reminded me that Sunday night for Memorial Day, there was gonna be some outdoor music, and I was kinda like, I don't know. This isn't even a large crowd, y'all. This is maybe, like, what, 300 people? I don't know. And then when she said, "Oh, well, we don't sit up at the green, we sit clear across the lake," and I thought, "Oh," like, that
Oh,
kind of interested me, like, I will
mm,
consider it now
yeah.
right.
because it's you can still hear, but you could still have a conversation and you're not in the mix, so
Yes. I think that's the thing about big crowds as you get older is you can't talk or hear each other
Mhm,
talk.
mhm.
Yeah.
It can be overwhelming with the noise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, same with
Right.
restaurants. I don't enjoy where I have to scream or yell
Mhm.
or just not talk, like, that's not why I'm going out to eat, so
Well, I have a funny scenario to add with my next one because it just happened, but, I think I would put this under I, don't have any time to take responsibility for anybody else's problems.
Oh.
And I think more and more I'm okay with handing your problem back.
Mm. Mhm. This is a good boundary
And
too.
okay, so this was something that I think is a beautiful thing that has come with age and maturity. Is my family went to a Braves game not too long ago, and we had these great seats. Love these seats. It was a gift from our neighbor, and we took a break, probably top of the fifth inning. Went to have dinner, and then we came back, and there were some people in our seats. And so it was myself and two of my sons. And Bryce wasn't with us because he had to grab something. He was coming back to meet us. So it was just me and the boys that were coming back to the seats. And I said, "Oh, excuse me, these are our seats." And they said, "Oh, it was 4 men." They said, "We're sorry. We were sitting back there, but somebody took our seats." And that was it. They stayed.
Oh
They
my
weren't getting
goodness.
up. They said, "Oh, we're sorry, but somebody took our seats." And so I paused and I kind of looked around. I said, "Well, you're going to have to go tell them to move."
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not my problem.
I know, I know. And it really didn't mean that much to me, but the guy was surprised. It was like a man that was older than me, and then he had some younger adult boys with him. And he looked surprised when I said, "Well, you're going to have to go tell them to move." And it was nice. There was not emotion or, anger or anything. And he raised his eyebrows. He was like, "Oh, okay. So you want us to move?" I said, "Yes."
So
Okay.
weird.
Okay. So the young adult man was closest to me and he looked up and mouthed, "I'm so sorry." He was so embarrassed. And I kind of like was confused at this, whole scenario. And so then when they get up to the move, like there's multiple people around us that heard the exchange and they're like going like 2 thumbs up at me and everything. I'm like, this was not a confrontation. It was very, to me,
Yeah.
it was logical. It was like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't, this makes no sense. And Grant, we sat down and Grant was really surprised. He said, "Mom, I'm so impressed that you told him to move." He said, "I don't think I would have done that." I said, "Well, Grant, he gave me his problem and I just gave it back."
Yeah.
He said, "That makes so much sense." He said, "But I really would have avoided." He said, "But I had your back if he decided to do anything."
But what would the alternative be? Like, then you're supposed to go and take someone else's seat?
I know, right?
Did he think other seats were available? Like, were there other seats around you
I
that you
have n I have no idea, but
Yeah.
to
That's
me,
so
it was
weird.
just like
Yeah.
but I think if I were younger, I would have avoided the confrontation at all costs.
Mhm.
And I think because I was at this age, I was
Yeah.
okay with just handing it right back. Like,
Mhm.
"Well, you're gonna have to figure out your problem. I'm not here to deal with it." I'm like, "I'm not your mom.
Right.
I got enough kids, dude."
Oh, that's funny. Well, good for you, Mindy. Plus, you set a good example for Grant.
I was like, "Wow, okay, way to go. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a good thing."
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, here's one that I would say that I don't like to do, but I did do it yesterday and it wasn't too bad. Okay. I used to love to go to the mall. Did you guys all hang out at the mall when you were a teenager? Yes.
When I was
This was
young.
gonna be my next thing, Marie.
Oh,
Okay.
That's so
buddy.
funny.
And when my kids were young, living in upstate New York where it snows a lot, like I would mall walk with my friends,
Mhm.
meet people. You'd go to the mall just to play in their play place and eat a little
Yep.
something at the food court. You went to the mall on a Friday night just to walk around and maybe get a new shirt and say hi to some people. Like the mall was not something that I considered twice about going. It was something you looked forward to. Now, if you tell me I have to go to the mall, the answer is no. So I avoid the mall. If your store is only in a mall, I'm not going. You'll never see me buy an item from you.
Online shopping.
Yes. But then I might have to return it in the mall, Mindy, so I'll still do
You'll
it.
be there
True.
twice.
So yesterday, my two college girls are home for a couple weeks before they go to work at a camp all summer. So I feel like if they ask me to do something, I feel more of an obligation to stretch myself. And my one daughter said, "Do you want to go to the Green Hills Mall with me?" Which, if you live in the Nashville area, if someone said, "Do you want to go to the Green Hills Mall?" I mean, I don't know. It's up there to me, the top few worst traffic spots to go. Like there are other malls that I would rather go to because I just think about the parking. Immediately my mind goes to parking. Oh, darn. It's hard to park there. I might have to park in a garage, and that's even worse than a parking lot. Like I don't want to even go to the Green Hills Mall. And I don't know it that well. Like if you tell me that we're going to this certain store, in my mind, I can't even picture where that is. So now I'm going to have to look at their little maps and get all confused. So at first I'm like, and she's like, "Come on, Mom." I said, "Well, are you driving?" She goes, "Will you go if I drive?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I do not want to park at the Green Hills Mall." She's like, "Fine." So she parks and she picked out like 3 stores she wanted to go to because I don't want to just go and wander the Green Hills Mall. Like, I want a plan. Well, turns out I kept passing stores that I wanted to go into. Oh, I have a birthday coupon for this store. Hey, let's go in here. It's still my birthday month. I can still get a certain percentage off. Or, she had no trouble finding a parking spot. We parked and there were 2 spots open right next to each other. She goes, "Oh, yeah. Boy, we were sure lucky. Good thing we were able to find a parking spot on a Tuesday afternoon at 2:00. Like, it's not even a busy time to go to the mall. And I'd already built it up in my mind as, we'll circle for hours. There will be no parking."
And the garage actually it probably has more parking than a regular mall, you
Could
know?
be, but you just say garage and my mind shuts down, Julie. So
Yes, yes.
we actually had a really good time. We went to several stores. We did not get that turned around. We found our car again and we made it home and there was no problem. It was perfectly fine. Will I venture to the Green Hills Mall on my own? No, I still will not. But if I had to go along with someone else that was driving, I would say yes.
That's so
That's funny.
funny.
Now,
And
I did include this in my list because I had to go to the mall yesterday. David's birthday's coming up, and I've ordered him something that won't be here on his actual birthday. So I thought, I just can't let the day go by without getting him something. So he likes a certain brand of sock, and he's already told me they all have holes in them. So I thought, okay, this is what I can get. Too late to order on Amazon. So I thought, I know there's a sock store in the Cool Springs Mall. And when I went in, it just flooded my mind because I haven't been in a mall in a long time. Like, all the memories, like, John and I had date nights in the mall. This is what we would
Mhm.
like to do, especially at the
Mhm.
Green Hills Mall. And, when the kids were little, I mean, they were little mall babies, they went in strollers, and I met people for lunch, and I walked around in the winter and, or in the hot summer. It was just a thing to do. I was probably in a mall once or twice a week. And I just thought how much has changed that it was really kind of depressing in there, like
Mm.
it's
Mhm.
just not the happening place to be anymore.
No, it's
And, I just parked at the closest entrance, ran and got my socks and left. I didn't even make the circuit of the mall or
Oh.
I just yeah, I thought, "Wow, things have really changed because I used to love this place."
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, along with that, I'm gonna add, bad food or bad food experience. Marie, you mentioned how you used to enjoy, like, grabbing food from the mall. I will starve before
Yeah.
I before I'm gonna go to, a restaurant that I don't enjoy or rush through a meal because I want to enjoy my food, and so I will wait. Like, that element of time that I joked about with you, Julie, I will wait. I will wait for good food or for a peaceful environment,
Mhm.
before I eat. Even if I'm really, really hungry, it's just not worth it. I want
Mhm.
to enjoy my food.
Yeah. Eating at the food court in the mall is the same to me as eating in the airport, and both of those are
Yes.
atrocious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if it's a well-known restaurant, somehow the quality's not quite the same as
No.
the real one, and yeah.
Uh-uh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we all enjoy malls, less and less.
One of the things that I don't enjoy as much anymore, and I don't know why, I don't know if it's after COVID or what, but just, I still enjoy going to a nice restaurant for a birthday celebration or some kind of celebration. But if I'm just going to go out to eat, I'm gonna choose the counter service place over the sit with a waiter place.
Really?
Like, I'll do yes, I don't know, I just don't like to be dependent on someone coming to my table,
Oh.
it just seems like this it's getting better, but for a while, the service was so bad and the
Mhm.
tables weren't
Oh.
clean it's like, "Okay, and
Mm.
I'm gonna pay triple the price." I'd rather
Mhm.
just order and then go sit down. I don't need to tip somebody to just order at a counter and, I don't know if that's
Mhm.
just being cheap or whatever, but I just like that is a convenience area that I still wanna pay for. I just like kind of being in charge of it myself, getting the food to
Right.
the table myself, cleaning the table
Yeah.
off myself, like and then there's so many good food options now, like the food is truly good food with
Mhm.
Yeah.
counter service.
Yeah, that's
places.
true.
Like in Brentwood, there was a Corky's barbecue restaurant. It's kind of a famous Tennessee restaurant, and they've converted the whole restaurant where you order at the counter and then go sit at the table. It used to be a full service restaurant, and I like
Mm,
it so much better. Like I'll actually go there again because I like it now.
Mhm.
Because you can't really get bad service that way.
True.
So
right, right. Well, along with that, I'm gonna just put grocery shopping in general on the list here because
Mhm. I think that's always been true.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put this out there just in case anybody was unaware. I feel like we could talk about this every episode, but now that we don't have children that I have to lug to the grocery store, now more than ever, I have time to go to the grocery store. I don't want to go to the grocery
No.
store, and I'm so
Me either.
happy for like food delivery service. And so it's just a convenience that I absolutely love. And I don't know, it's so much less stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a convenience I still enjoy too, Mindy,
Yeah.
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 or a pickup. I'll still pick it up, not deliver it, but
Okay.
I do love to not go in the grocery store.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, my college girls are home, and one of them has a Costco card because she uses it in her college town. And so I've been sending her to Costco, and she's young enough that she still thinks it's fun to go to Costco.
Mm. Mhm.
And I'm paying for it, so it's even more fun to add things
Yeah.
to her cart that she wants. But I'm telling you, I loved sending her to Costco. I put all my heaviest items on the list. I had her picking up 40 packs of water bottles, big things of LaCroix. I hate carrying that stuff into my cart, loading it in the
Yeah,
car, bringing it in the house. Those things are heavy. I was
they are.
loading up the kombucha on the list, like anything heavy I was having her get. She's young. She is young, and she doesn't mind.
Oh
But
my
yes,
goodness.
food delivery for sure. We want it. We definitely
What
want
Mhm.
it.
are you gonna do when she goes back to school?
Well, to be fair, I'll need half the food because there's 4 people home right
Yeah.
now, and 2 of them have really upped my, eating. I've been
Okay.
making a loaf of sourdough bread a day, and there were only 2 pieces left this morning.
Oh,
Literally. My food,
got it.
they're eaten.
I'll have
Got it.
them stock up on the heavy stuff before they leave.
True.
So the next thing that I probably sound like the biggest, crankiest person, but this is the kind of episode where you get to share all the things that make you cranky. I don't care about new music. Lydia goes, "Oh my goodness, have you heard the new Morgan Wallen album? It's so good." And I listened to probably the last Morgan Wallen album when he was like going insane a couple years ago because we got tickets to go see him. So I listened to it
Mhm.
and I learned the songs because I was going to the concert. But I'm not going to listen to his new album. If I happen to hear a song that one of my kids play and they share why they like it and we listen to it together in the car, then it might have some meaning for me and I might put it on a playlist. I think that's what
Mhm.
made music fun, and that's why we all liked music because we were all having fun experiences surrounded
Mhm.
by music and new music.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that at this point in my life. Like I'm
Mhm.
not going to get excited about turning on the radio and trying to learn a new song. I want to hear a song that brings back a good memory or one that I already know. I don't want to hear any new
That is
music.
that is so true, Maria. I had that on my list too.
Yes.
Just like pop
Uh-huh.
culture in general, I don't care to keep up with it anymore.
Yeah.
Unless a kid brings up something, sometimes I'll go Google it and say, "Who is this person? What are they doing?" But I'm fine listening to my 80s music, my old
Mhm.
TV shows. They just bring comfort to me. There's familiarity, comfort. So I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I'm not. It's too much work to go out and weed through the stuff that's out there now.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, even having, like, loud music playing in my car, I used to love having, like, a dance party to myself, and more, I'm like, "I just want silence. I wanna hear the birds singing." I just when have I ever said that in my life?
On your back country roads.
Yes, I wanna drive slow. I'm like, "Who is this?" I was, like, speeding everywhere, dancing to, like, clubbing music in my minivan because the kids were at school. I mean, like
Yes, I know. And when the kids used to drive around with me, like before they got their license, I would know a lot of popular songs because they would want to
Mhm.
play their music on the way to school or wherever we went. And that was fun to learn
Uh-huh.
it in the context of spending time with them. But if I'm by myself, I am not searching out new music.
No.
I was listening to some of my favorite music, and it's called smooth jazz. And John
Ooh.
had introduced it to me when we were dating. Like, this is old
Okay.
stuff. I had it in the car, and David goes, "What is this? The soundtrack to Alf?"
Oh my gosh.
And it did. Now it's all I could think of is like, it might be. It actually might be.
Oh, it's Julie.
But I know it really sounds ridiculous to them. Not
If you know-
Elf, Alf, the old
Alf.
TV show.
And if you
Yeah.
know who Alf is, that already dates you.
Yes.
And the thing is John actually liked that show, so I feel like that could be the soundtrack to Elf.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
ALF.
Yeah, ALF. Yeah, you
Yes.
got to go way back to know who Alf is.
Dude, I know who you're talking about.
All my kids love that show because we made them watch it.
I used to tell people my name was Mindy, and I would be like, yeah, you know, like the show, Mork and Mindy. And they would be like, oh, yeah. And then they would go, Nanu, Nanu. And well, people these days don't know that.
That's-
No,
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 they
they don't. They're really missing out. Yeah.
I know.
One other thing that I thought about that I used to really, really enjoy, and I don't have this anymore, is magazine subscriptions.
Oh,
Mm.
me too.
I took Southern Living, I took Country Living. I know I took a few more, and my mom would often give them to me as gifts, because I liked them. I don't think I've had a magazine in my house in years, and then I had to. I always kept them, so they would stack up, and I remember every few months have to take them to the dump, because they had stacked up, and so I don't miss that part, the accumulation. But I guess I just get whatever you could find in a magazine, you could see on Pinterest and Instagram.
Mhm.
Right.
You could just find it elsewhere.
I don't know. I've got Marie rolling through my head. I remember we did a spring episode a couple of years ago, and she said how she decorated for spring as she put the Country Living spring.
Well, that was an example of my pathetic decorating.
Yeah, I remember her saying she would use that to decorate for the season.
Well, and I appreciate her Real Simple subscription. It's given us a lot of great
Yes.
ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually Real Simple has gone downhill. I have Real Simple right now, and I took like a few issues. I had to make myself sit down the other day, and I was like, do I even still like this? And they make it so hard to cancel now, but I put that on my list, find the number and cancel, because I think I
Mhm.
probably signed up when it was like $6, and if they renew, it'll be like 40. So
Oh, my
I need
goodness.
to
Mm.
go ahead and do that. But you're right. Like the things that I liked in there, they took out. So
Yeah.
like they don't even have them anymore.
Well, it's
Oh.
almost like every other page is an ad. It's just advertisements. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw something out there. New technology. I do have a funny story to tell on myself. Abby totally made fun of me not too long ago. I had not added Apple Pay to my phone. Well, Bryce finally added it for me and told me how to use it. This is not groundbreaking, all right? People have been doing Apple Pay for a long time, but it was new for me. So Abby and I happened to be out shopping, and it's a young girl checking us out, and she says, how do you want to pay? She's like, okay, you can pay now. And I said, oh, I'd like to use Apple Pay. Well, Abby busted out laughing. She was like, you don't have to announce it, Mom. She said, Mom, anybody looking at you would think you're so young. And then you totally pull something like that, and it totally ages you. You don't announce when you're going to use Apple Pay. You just do it.
But you were so proud.
I said, but she needed to know. She
Uh-huh.
might have needed to know that. And the girl was so sweet. She just smiled at me, and she was just nice.
That's too funny. Well, the thing is I know how to use Apple Pay. Like if I want to skip typing in my credit card and I'm buying something online, it'll often give me the choice. But if I went to Chopped for lunch, I'm sure I can use Apple Pay, but by the time I figured out how to use it, I might as well just pull out my credit card. But there's probably an easy way to do it. I think I probably would say, hey, I want to pay with Apple Pay. How do I do that?
Okay. Well, I had the other embarrassing scenario of trying to return something after using Apple Pay to purchase this.
Oh.
Apparently, it's a different number
Really?
that it gives for a credit card, and the poor girl at Target had to help me go through my phone to try to figure out how to pull it up to return it to Apple Pay and to figure out that I had used that. Anyways, she was so nice and totally helped me figure out to make sure that I was returning to the right credit card. So,
that's crazy.
anyways, these workers out here that are helping us with technology, I just want to thank you.
The truth is, Apple pays out because we're using it. They've already
Right.
moved on to
Yeah,
something else.
They're
that's true.
Here I am finally trying to catch
Uh-huh.
on.
It must be on its way out.
They're going to leave me behind so fast.
All right. Well, I know that we've said a lot of things that we are getting less and less enjoyment out of, but then also reading the comments on these reels, a couple of them really struck a note with me. So somebody put sweet desserts. This is one that I so never expected, but I absolutely agree with. I would never have imagined I'd sometimes have trouble eating cupcakes. And so I would say that overly sweet desserts are kind of out for me. Really, desserts in general. I really just want my tried and true Trader Joe's dark chocolate and my healthy choice bars. I don't care to venture out any differently than that. Like, I don't want like something hugely sweet. Have you guys noticed that your tolerance for sugar has gone down?
I don't know. After traveling in Europe, their desserts are so delicious because they're not full of sugar, and so I do think I prefer that. I still love a dessert, but it can't be sickening sweet. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go in spurts. It's not something I can have all the time. Like I felt like I used to always want something sweet, but now I'm just like, I get really tired of it.
Mhm. I see one here that I didn't think about, but I agree with self-checkouts at stores.
Oh,
The other day, Marie, when we had made bread, I set my alarm for 7 the next morning because I was gonna feed my starter and bake my bread, and I didn't have any parchment paper. So I am driving to Kroger at 7 in the morning to buy this, and they were just opening the store. And all the self-checkouts were open, but I waited on her to open her register, count all the money, and everything. And I think they were kinda looking at me like, there's all those registers over there are empty. But I've
Julie
got the
says, I'll
time.
wait.
I will wait because, I don't work here. I don't need to go through that and bag my own groceries and scan them. And I just hate that. So I prefer to just stand there while they do the work. So I agree with that.
Don't you love, like, they'll have someone come up to you, "Ma'am, let me help you go through the self-checkout." "No, thank you.
No thanks. I'll just wait.
I'm okay."
yes.
And it's usually true the more I have, like if it's a huge
Yeah.
cart, but I only had 4
Yeah.
or 5 things, but I still waited.
I know I saw one of the comments to one of the reels, aside from all of the people that wrote just people, I
A
don't have
lot of
time for
people.
people. I was like, "Okay, you guys just need to stay home." That's rough. That is rough. But, no, one of them, somebody put passwords. Anytime I'm prompted to change my password, I started laughing. I was like, "That is so me." Put this in the technology category, because Bryce cracks up at me. I literally have 1 or 2 passwords that I try to go between, and then when it prompts me and says, "No, you've already used that," and so then I'll change the very last character, and it's like, "No, that's too close." I'm like, "Come on."
I know. I know.
I just saw a cartoon today and it said, this woman's trying to enter her password and it says, "You are so close. We're just gonna let you in."
Really? That's so funny. I
I
love
know.
it. Here's a couple that just people are going to be able to relate with. Not everybody, but if you're middle-aged, someone putting out holiday decor. Yes, I don't want to decorate for the seasons anymore. I just want to decorate in general. I don't want to have to decorate for a specific season. I don't get excited. Like I've seen on my Instagram, some people are already putting like 176 days until I can decorate for Christmas. Like,
Oh.
it's 176 days. I have to pull out all that Christmas stuff again. I feel like I just put it away. Okay, here's something that's really super annoying. I hate it when there's not a real menu and I have to like scan the menu on my phone.
Yes.
That's super annoying. Have menus for older people. I want a real menu. I'm sorry, I want one.
In large print, and it's not sticky.
Well, and you want to be able to put your phone away. It's just encouraging You just stay
Mhm.
on your phone. Yeah, I hate that.
A couple more that you ladies will be able to relate with is driving at night. No, thank
Oh.
you. I do not want to drive at night. Um, any place without immediate adjacent parking. If you cannot guarantee me an easy parking spot, that I don't want to go. I'll ride with you, but I don't want to have to stress about parking. This person having a low car. Yes, a car does feel different than an SUV, and I don't necessarily love the low car anymore. It's really not that
Yeah.
comfortable.
It feels
I
like you're sitting in
know.
a bucket.
Yes,
You
I'm
can't get
really
I
out
not
of it.
know.
loving the low car.
I know. I know. My minivan, I would keep it over getting a BMW
Yeah.
car or something,
Yes, I'm not looking here to impress people. I want to be
Yeah.
comfortable. Which I think is probably mostly the theme of this whole episode, is that we care less and less about impressing people as we get older, and we care
Right.
Yeah.
more and more about being comfortable.
Yes. Somebody put on there, like, putting on makeup, and I was like, "That's so funny," because we've all talked about how our routines have gotten simpler and simpler as we've gotten older, and even one of my favorite things now is going without mascara, and so I could so see that, it's just all the things that we went through when we were younger to get ready, to go out in public, and to go places, and
Mhm.
so, yeah, putting on makeup. I hear you.
All right, listeners, we hope we haven't sounded too grumpy. I know we've laughed about our grumpiness. Hopefully, you can see beyond the grumpiness into our jesting. We are jesting today.
Yes.
Yes, yes, very lighthearted.
But we would love to know what you enjoy less and less as you get older. You can find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of some pants that are perfect for what we've just talked about.
Yay!
I spent some money and invested in these because when I put them on, I could not believe how amazing they were. And you guys, let me just read the description. They're by Lululemon, and they are called the Stretch Woven Ruffle Waist Wide Leg Cropped Pant.
Oh, those sound awesome.
They have I'm going to send them to you now. They have an elastic waistband.
Yeah, and it's ruffled,
Of
it sounds
course.
like.
And it's ruffled, so you can tuck your shirt in.
Nice.
These pants, they are perfect. They could wad up really small in a suitcase, okay, and not get wrinkled. They feel like you're wearing like air.
Oh.
There's the stretch, they're lightweight, they're airy, they're loose. These are amazing pants and they're super cute. I couldn't believe how cute. I'll even send you the picture of me in the dressing room sending a picture to Abby to show her.
Okay.
I was like, "You will not believe how cute these are." But I love them so much, and I did get this color, the blue. They're like navy with like thin white stripes, and I just think they're
Nice.
adorable. So,
Right. I want pants that feel like air. Definitely.
they are
Sign me
amazing.
up.
I put them on. I was like, "Yes, you are coming home with me."
All right, Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
All right. I'm a fan of a tool. And, we've talked about having the right tool for the job. Well, this is a very unique tool. I have one of those blue and white big bowls. They're actually called a fish bowl, but you know what I'm talking about, like a blue and white porcelain big bowl.
Like a chinoiserie?
Yes, yes. And at Christmas, I put my Christmas tree in it, and then, in the summer, I like to keep it on my front porch and put a geranium in it. It just looks so pretty, red geranium in the blue and white bowl, but it never does well because there's no hole in the bottom.
Mm.
It's not meant to be a planter. So, I started thinking, "How could I get a hole in the bottom of this porcelain bowl?" So I looked it up, and you can buy hole saw drill bits that are diamond tipped for porcelain, and a lot of them are to be used like, you could drill a hole through, a marble countertop or
Mm.
tile or whatever. So this was specifically for porcelain, and I was worried about it because my bowl has a little crack in it that's been glued together, and I thought, oh, this could just shatter. So I turned it upside down and put the drill on it, and it took a little while to do it because it's about a quarter of an inch thick. It
Mhm.
was pretty thick, and you have to run water on it because the drill will get hot. but it worked perfect. And I thought, oh, this was so fun. I drilled 2 holes at the bottom, but I planted my geranium and we'll see how it goes. So
Wow.
anything that's glass or porcelain that's not meant to be a planter that you wanted to be a planter, you can drill the hole in the bottom.
That's
And it's
awesome.
really smooth. Like it's not jagged. I thought it might kind of
Wow.
crack or, be jagged, but it's really smooth and nice.
I'm
So, yeah.
impressed, Julie.
Yeah, and I
Wow.
went to Home Depot and they were like 30 to $40 a drill bit, and I did not need this to last the rest of my life. I just really wanted this one thing drilled.
Mhm.
So, I ordered mine on Amazon. I think it was around $10.
Oh,
But it did drill through it twice, and it looks
mhm.
like it's still okay. So,
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's
not
awesome.
not
I'm
too expensive.
impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that because there are so many pretty things that you can use as planters, but getting a hole in the bottom is always the trick.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. This week, I'm a fan of some linen pillow covers. So I went over to somebody's house and they had such pretty linen furniture, but my lifestyle just does not fit with linen furniture because I know that that would get messed up. Stains, things like that. But I
Mhm.
thought, you know what I could have? Linen pillow covers. So I went on Amazon and I ordered a few because you never know really what you're going to get. So I did return a couple, but I did keep these. And they had over 2,000 4.5-star reviews. So they were good. So they are called the Foined Tower decorative linen fringe throw pillow covers. And I will put a link to them. I got this rifle green, which I would say is kind of like an army green, I guess like an olive green. And then I got this deeper blue color, but I actually ordered a couple different greens before I decided on one. They were easy returns. For 22-inch pillows, a pack of 2 is $30. So not super
Mm.
expensive. You're getting 2 covers and you can freely return them if they do not work for you. So I just thought, well, here's a way to get some linen without feeling like I've got to micromanage people eating on my sofa.
I like that. What a
Yeah.
great little hack. And I didn't even think about doing that.
Yeah.
Like, that would look so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you have the more expensive pillow inserts, that's your
Yeah.
that's your
And I already
costly
did
thing. And
have
then
that.
and then switch them out. That's a great
Right.
way to change up your space.
I need to do that. Yes. Yes, please share that link, Marie,
Okay.
because I
I'll order
definitely
your
need to do
pants.
that.
You can order my pillow covers.
Yes. Yes.
This is right after the overconsumption episode that we released last week.
We just need the right tools and the right pants, okay?
Yes. All right. I enjoyed talking with you, ladies. We will talk with you next week.
Sounds
fun.
great.
Okay.
Bye.
We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.